Hello everyone and welcome back to a new tutorial. My name is Abdul Qadir, and if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting and sharing. In this tutorial we are going to create a third-person character using Mixamo and the third-person character that comes with Unreal Engine 4. In the last tutorial we have created an AI NPC. In this tutorial, we are going to use the same model, Brian the Bald Man, and his two animations, idle and walking, and we are going to implement them for a third-person character that we can control. As you can see that now I am playing him from walking to idle to walking to idle to walking to idle. And we are going to take the old third-person character that comes with Unreal Engine 4 and we are going to change him to Brian. In the last video, if you haven't watched it, I have showed you guys how to import models and animations from Mixamo. So if you'd like to learn how to do that, you will need to go to that video to learn how to import Mixamo characters and models. So let's get started. First thing we are going to create is an animation Blendspace 1D. Let's go ahead and do that. Next thing we are going to choose Brian's skeleton and let's name it Brian Blend. Let's open it up, and as you see, this is the blend space that comes up with two animations that we have for Brian. This is the space that we are going to work with. Let's go ahead and take idle, put it at the beginning of the space, and take walking and put it at the end of the space. As for this space, it only contains walking and idle. If you have more animations like running, you can put walking somewhere in here and running somewhere in here. And if you have something more like sprinting, you can go ahead and do walking in idle in here, walking in here, running in here, and sprinting at the last one. If you want to check how it works, you can drag and or hold shift. Let's go ahead and hold shift and see how he is going to move. That's good. Let's save that and close our blend. Next thing we want to do is to create an animation blueprint using Brian's skeleton as well. Let's click OK and name it Brian Anim BP. And in this animations, we are going to do a lot of things. But before we do that, let's go ahead and copy some things from the third-person blueprint. We are going to need to use third-person character. Let's copy that and put it in here. Let's change its name to Brian Third Person. And we want to do one more thing, is to go to Mannequin Animations and open the animation blueprint that comes with Unreal Engine 4. Next thing we want to do is to program our animation. And in order to do that, we need to go to the third-person characters templates, event graph, and copy everything except for the update animation. Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's paste it in the event graph of Brian. Once we've done that, you will have by default the event blueprint update animation node just connected to the execution. Let's compile and save, and we will get two warnings, two errors. One of them is that we don't have the isInAir variable. The other one is that we don't have the speed variable. So let's go ahead and create them. The first one's name is in air question mark, and it's a boolean. The second one is speed, and it's a float. So let's go ahead and change it to float. Once that is done, if you compile again, you will not have any errors. Next thing we want to do is to go to AnimGraph for both of them and copy the state machine, the default state machine of the third person template, and just paste it in here. Once you've done that, connect it to the result and open it up. Since our character does not jump, we are going to delete everything related with jump, and we are going to only have idle run, and in our case it's idle walk. Let's go ahead and open that, and instead of using the third person idle run two-dimensional blend space, we are going to use Brian blend that we have just created. Let's go ahead and connect it, compile, save, and you will have Brian idle in his place. Next thing we want to do after we close this is to go back to Brian's folder and open Brian third person, which we are going to put in our level. We are going to go to mesh, and we are going to change the skeletal mesh to Brian's mesh. As you can see in the viewport, Brian now appears in his capsule. You can adjust the height and width of the capsule so it would fit Brian exactly. Compile that and save. Next thing we want to do is to go to mesh and use the animation class that we have just created, Brian AnimBP. And as you can see, he becomes idle directly. One more thing we want to do is to go to character movements and write speed and make the speed around 300, which is cool in my opinion. Compile and save that and close the blueprint. And next we want to put Brian as a third person in here, and if we play, we are still going to have our third person character template playing. So in order to fix that, we are going to click on Brian and go to his detail and write pawn, and you want to make him player 0, and you can now play as Brian as a third person character. You can control him from going idle to walk to idle to walk and such. If you find this tutorial useful, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. In the next tutorial, we are going to take Brian and create a true first-person character instead of a third-person character. So if you want to do that, stay tuned and hyped and excited, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. This was Abdul Qadir, and have a good evening.